Hey there, kiddos and
Hi.
Kidettes, or what are you saying? I don't know.
Kiddos. Men and women.
How's everybody doing out there?
All.
We're so glad to have you here in the virtual campground.
We are.
First off, can you hear us? And second off, can you hear our generator?
We have it on just in case, but we can turn it off because we think we have enough electricity now that we've run it.
That's right.
Because we're boondocking, so you have to run your generator.
Boondocking, baby. So yeah, we are out here in the middle of nowhere. We'll show you where in a minute. But
it's
first
not
off,
exactly nowhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, it feels like nowhere sometimes. When you have to go to the grocery store, it feels like nowhere.
The hardest part is just getting down the road to the actual highway. But once you get to the highway, it's really all close.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is the first time I've aired down the Jeep tires just to get in and out of the RV site.
Because the road's a little rough.
It's a little washboardy. It's not bad though.
But you made the rig got down here, so
That's
it's
right.
not terrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
And it's beautiful, so it doesn't really matter how bad it is because it's beautiful.
That's right. So let us know if you can hear us. Oh, we got comments coming in. So let's see. Yes, we can hear you, and I can't hear your generator.
Oh, good.
Sweet.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Johnny Lightning. I like you.
That way it can keep the air conditioner on.
That's right. Well,
I
turned the air conditioner
off. We don't really need the air conditioner
because
it's going to get cold pretty darn quick. The sun's about to go down, and it drops greatly.
Really fast. Really fast.
Yes.
So what we're going to do, we have about 5 or 6 bags of firewood outside. So what we're going to do is when we finish the show, and you guys are welcome to come. We're going to hop outside and we're going to start a fire and sit around and chat with Ken and April from Living a Stout Life, who are our neighbors
right
out
now.
here. They're 20 feet away.
They came and joined us.
Listening to our generator. And hopefully they're not eating up a whole lot of the AT&T cell tower that's nearby.
No, they're out bike riding, actually.
Oh, good.
So they went away.
They're not even here. They're not even hearing our show.
No.
Oh, they're going to listen to it later.
Yeah, they're going to listen to it later, but besides, they get it in person.
That's right.
They've been living this with us.
That's right. So great to see everybody in the chat. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Just make it turn blue is what I've heard you're supposed to say. I don't know. That's what all the cool kids say.
That's what, John Martin says he's still in Quartzides, and I am curious. I heard that they were going to do some work on the road there. I think aren't going to start till next week, though. So are you having any issues, John, getting in and out? Has it been okay?
Yeah, true. Well, I didn't think that was supposed to start yet, though.
No, I said next week. I'm just curious. I mean, they're working on the road. That would, to me, mean something's wrong with the road. But then again, it could just be they have to work on the road. Who knows? Yeah. So you want to show a picture of where we are so everybody can just be envious?
I thought you would never ask. Okay, so here's where we are.
That's our view.
That is beautiful Sedona. So over those mountains and a little to the right is the town of Sedona, West Sedona, and then you get into Sedona proper. And it's just stunningly gorgeous around here. Lots of red mountains and it's just,
lots of red dust.
Yeah, lots of
My shoes
aren't
white anymore. They are red.
Yeah, everything's covered in dust.
Yes.
Deb came out earlier today. She's been sitting outside a lot doing work, and so she was asking me, what should I do with my laptop? It's covered in dust.
So I have to blow it out. But it's beautiful, and the sunsets have been, we don't have very many clouds, so it's pretty. But boy, we've had a full moon that we haven't needed any lights outside because it's been so bright, the moon. Yeah,
the moon has been a full moon, and we've got a couple of pictures to show you that later. And
just starting to wane.
Yeah.
Wane. It's waning.
Yeah, it's
not
wax
on, wane off.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Everybody got that, didn't they?
I don't think that's what the movie is.
No. Karate Kid.
Oh yeah, Johnny Lightning liked my rock border. Yes. So we have
because the wind.
We have had some pretty bad wind, but we've been boondocking before. Heck, even in campgrounds, and our carpet would get blown away. So I loaded that. There were plenty of rocks around here.
As long as you remember where to go put them back. Right?
Oh yeah. I'll put them back exactly in the right place.
Exactly.
They're all marked. So with removable paint. It's going to be Great. August Wheeler in the house.
Yay.
Say hi to Jill.
Did you see the pictures of them skiing in,
No.
I think, the backcountry? It would look crazy. Yeah.
No.
Lots of snow.
God,
They're not biking, they're skiing.
Tell us where you went skiing, August. I haven't been skiing. I've got my skis on top of the Jeep, ready to go at any moment.
Yeah, we just need to find a mountain.
Yeah, we just need to.
We just seem to stay away from that.
Get a lot closer to snow.
Yeah, exactly. That would be good. So we are going to talk a lot more about this area later in the show. We also have an interview today with Michele, who was wonderful, and she let us interview her actually last year. We're just now showing you the Alaska, but as y'all might remember that have been with us, we did another show on Alaska with Eric and Tammy Johnson, and then we got to talk to Michele, who is an actual resident in Alaska, but also a big traveler and RVer. So she shared some good tips that we're going to share with you today. Yeah.
We'll do that, and then we have a few pictures to show from this area, and
so we're going to give you some tips.
Yeah, we're working on a more in-depth, thorough sort of overview of this area because there's so much to do.
So much,
and it's not just Sedona.
No, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah, more to come on that later in the show. Plus, more to come because we're going to do a better video with some of Barry's great pictures because he has beautiful pictures. If you have this beautiful landscape, then we've got some great pictures. Oh, so sweet. So sweet.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we have celebrations.
We
Things to celebrate.
What are we celebrating?
Well, first of all, do you know what yesterday was?
Yes, it was our anniversary.
It was our anniversary.
Not our wedding anniversary or dating anniversary or any of those sorts of anniversaries. It was the anniversary of us purchasing the virtual campground.
It was the anniversary of us becoming camp hosts. Woohoo! And all of you guys joining us and being part of our community. So, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Thanks for being here. Glad you're part of the crew.
So, we've been at this a year. Hopefully, we're starting to get the hang of it. Still have a lot to learn, but now I have no excuse because I've been at it a year. So, so we'll have to keep it up.
Even tonight, we were talking just before this thing went live about how we feel a little rusty because we haven't done the live thing as often as we did last year.
Yeah, we might have to do it more often if we don't want to be rusty.
But hey, we're learning, we're growing. Things are changing. We've got the forums online.
Yep.
We've got some cool stuff on
the
YouTube.
Website got updated and looks great. Thanks to the aughts. And then, the forums. We've been trying more things, experimenting in YouTube. So we're playing. Love to hear back from you guys. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? Give us more information. Yeah. So that would be great.
We're all ears. And I've got. I keep thinking about merchandise. I really do.
Well, you've done a lot of work on it.
A lot of prototypes.
We'll hopefully push it out in the next few weeks.
Hopefully.
Your new deadline is the end of March. Before the end of March.
Oh yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, but now you've gone a little bit past.
Yes.
But that's okay. So what else can we celebrate? Well, let's celebrate. Rob Bibber had a birthday yesterday.
Who?
Rob Bibber. He's very active on our Facebook group, the Virtual Campground.
Happy birthday,
so he's
Rob
part
Bibber.
of one of the campgrounds. So anybody else have March birthday, please let us know in the comments so we can give you a shout out. I want to celebrate the aughts because they survived the Snowmageddon.
Or Ice-mageddon, or whatever it was. The
Texas Snowmageddon.
Horrendous temperatures down in Texas. And they left southern Arizona
where we were,
to drive
which was
over
warm
to Texas.
And lovely.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And then went to Texas where they thought they were going to be fine.
We were virtually one of the only places in the U.S. that didn't get below freezing. Not to rub it in, but
Yeah, but
they had
a hard
caught
time.
Up in it.
Power and ice and no water for a while. So anyway, bless them. And then I also want to give a shout out to someone else. And some of y'all might have been in the Snowmageddon, and my heart goes out to you. But that was our home state, so we certainly were following the news very closely on that. But I wanted to give a shout out to Nancy and Tim Uppenhouse, another one of our TC campers, and they were heroes at their campground. So they're from Illinois, or I think, but they were going to Illinois, but they were in Texas at the time. They were down in Rockport, Texas, and Tim is pretty handy. So when the ice storm hit, he ended up helping the other campers in the campground kind of keep their rigs going and fixing pipes and things that got froze. And then Nancy was helping out with the campground owners to keep hot coffee in the the community center area of the campground, and they were supposed to leave to go back home to Illinois, but everybody begged them to stay a little longer. So I don't know if they've actually made it home yet or not, but yeah. So shout out to them, heroes of the campground.
That's what makes the RV community great, is when people reach out and help neighbors. So it's good for them.
And also wanted to congratulate Kellyanne. I don't think she's on right now, but she got a new rig. She took it out for its first spin.
Did you hear whose rig she got?
Oh, no.
So I think this is just a rumor, but I don't.
We spread rumors.
Yeah, we spread rumors wildly around here without any. So Jeremy Bronwell's father's was selling his rig, and I believe that's the one she got.
Okay, well, fine. Well, Jeremy's not in there to tell us confirm.
Kept it in the family. Yeah, so if he's not here to confirm, let's just all assume
we'll just all assume it's right. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, and then also let's celebrate. Yesterday we had for the first time a meetup here in Sedona. Yeah. We advertised having a meetup, and we had a couple people come out. Didn't expect a big crowd because, it was
first time.
First time in the last minute. So
but we want to do more of that. We want to get, as we go around, we want to put out the word because that's part of why we did this, is to build community and get to know people and meet people.
We want to really see you around the campfire. Yeah. So,
around the brewery.
Or, wherever we decide.
Coffee shop.
And we... yes, Linda says she bought Jeremy's rig, so it wasn't a rumor. So, and also we know we're going to be in Merced. I'm saying it right?
Merced.
I keep saying it wrong. California, from May 8th to June 8th.
In between Sacramento and Yosemite. Dang it, Yosemite.
He's going to get it right one of these times, folks. Anyway, yes, so we know we're going to be there for like a month. So maybe we'll think about having a meetup. It's kind of out of the way, but maybe people are heading that way, and we can try to find.
What's the rough time frame we're going to be there?
May 8th to June 8th.
Yeah. So look at your calendars, make your plans. Let's plan to meet in Merced. Meet in Merced. Yeah, I think that should be a country song or something.
Yeah, it's a little hard to say though. And then of course everybody knows we have the meetup coming in October.
That's right.
Most all of y'all know about.
What meetup are you talking about?
What meetup am I talking about? The one camp Carpe Diem that we're planning to have October 7th through 10th. You can go to carpediem.com and to find out all the information. But we hope you'll join us there. We already have a bunch of people, actually a lot of you in the chat that are going to be there. We're really excited. August is going to be there, and he's going to help us out with some mountain biking, and you're going to be leading some people in photography, and it's going to be great fun. We're going to have campfires and s'mores and all kinds of fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the photography part of it, of course, because we have a photography workshop going on there the week before, and we scouted it out last year, and it's just stunning. And
if you haven't seen those pictures, you can go to YouTube and see those pictures.
We won't be able to get to all the places that we're going to do on the photography workshop, but I got a few special places picked out, so I'm pretty pumped about that. It's just a stunningly beautiful place.
It is, and you can always tell people if they want to go on their own.
If you want to go out on your own and we don't have time, then Santa Claus is going to be in slot C61.
There you go. And Living a Stout Life will be there.
Living a Stout Life, of course, will be there. There are partners and co-hosts in this endeavor. So they will be there, and they'll be doing some beer tastings and go to some breweries in the area.
Linda's going to be hosting at the Balloon Festival.
We're camping at the Balloon Festival.
Ooh, we might have to try that the following year.
Yeah, get us hooked up on that. Yeah. We'll do a Camp Carpe Diem out there next year.
We'll work camp just to see the balloons.
Or work camp, yeah. That sounds awesome. Love to hear more about that, Linda. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Also, Linda, I hope you're feeling better.
Oh, yeah.
Also, okay, so let's talk about what's going on in the RV world these days.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Are you talking about Debra's news, sort of?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of.
Debra's news. I told him
she doesn't want it to be Debra's news, but I've spent so much time working on this intro,
we're
going to play it.
You can do it.
Welcome to Debra's news.
Okay.
Right, that may be the last time you hear that. I don't know. We'll see.
So in Debra's news, I just told him I wanted him to have more talking in this and me just reporting. But at any rate, I wanted to see if you guys are even seeing this. We're hearing that campgrounds are starting demand pricing, which is, I used to work for Southwest Airlines, so that's a pretty common thing in the airline industry, but not quite in the campground. So this is where that flat rate no longer applies, and as the demand goes up and the sites fill up, then they can increase their prices. The reservation systems are now learning how to increase the price. So the longer you wait to book, the higher the rate. And I also read that there was an industry newsletter that goes out to camp owners and managers encouraging them to increase their prices. That between the fact that higher demand, more RVers, and there was a bunch of new people that didn't know the prices last year anyway, that they should increase their prices.
Yeah, and co-conspirators. So yeah, I mean, demand pricing is nothing new, and the hotel industry has been doing it for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's sort of a natural transition, I think. And
yeah, it's just disappointing.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
For those of us that don't do I know where I'm going to be 6 months from now and can make my reservations, so that makes it just a little bit harder.
But even then, I mean, we've seen lots of campgrounds that'll say from this date to this date, from this month to this month, it's the X rate, and then from during the
high season, low season, I get that. Yeah, it's just if it's more because I have 2 slots left, I can charge $20 more for those just because I have 2 slots left, and it's still a Tuesday afternoon, but they feel like, I don't know. So anyway, I'm curious to know if you guys are finding any troubles with making reservations and if you're seeing pricing going up. So
yeah, and that's, in order to do that, they're going to have to ramp up their software game. And as we've discovered, very few RV parks have good software. So it'll probably be a long time before that's adopted, over a lot of parks.
Yeah, it'll probably for all the mom and pops, yes, but for the ones that are chains, it wouldn't be
KOA.
that difficult.
I'm surprised KOA's not adopted that already, and
they might have.
And they now charge, I think, $20 if you want to pick your own site or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the more sophisticated campground owners will figure it out quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I am also seeing, and I know if you guys are too, that that I'm also hearing or seeing, when I'm making reservations, it seems like some of the refunding policies are also changing. So at any rate, it's just something to think about as you're planning your year, that potentially you'll be spending more if you do campgrounds. Yep. So thus we're trying to offset it with some boondocking.
That's right.
The other cost that's going up, and you're probably already seeing, is the gas prices. They are projected to get pretty high with the, again, Texas storm. We will be seeing some prices increases at the gas pump because of the Texas refineries.
Yeah, and I think OPEC has cut back on their, how much they're producing. So just several things coming into play that are causing the prices to get a little squeezed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Tina, get that RV soon, but it's still worth coming out. I mean, there's price increasing, but you just have to plan for it. And that's again, you have to maybe offset it with just some places that you can either boondock or mooch dock, or and that actually, you know what, another great place to do is Harvest Host.
Oh, what a segue.
What a segue.
You're like a pro.
So Harvest Host, that's a membership. You pay one price for the year, and then you can stay for free at their spots. Now, I say for free, and it is free to stay there. You usually will go in and do a purchase.
Free at all.
Or have a wine tasting, but you get really unique and special experiences. So it is worth it. But their prices are also going up in April. But if you join now, that price, you then lock in that price for your membership, as long as you have your membership. And if you go on our website to the recommended products page, there's actually a link there for Harvest Host, and you get 15% off. So it's around, I think, $67 right now for the year.
What a great deal.
I know. But it is they are planning to increase it in April to, I think, $99. So definitely worth getting it now and locking it in.
Yeah, the Harvest Host has been doing some pretty cool stuff, and they just got a round of funding for, I want to say $37 million or something like that.
Big.
So Joel just closed another round of funding, and grab it now while it's relatively inexpensive. who knows what's going to be happening. But,
and he's also adding some great
oh,
sites.
yeah.
So.
They've been adding tons and tons of cool sites. It's one of our favorite places to go to
stay.
Yeah, between.
And it's really great when you're trying to travel from one place to another place, because it's only a night. Some places let you stay 2, but really just one night.
Yeah.
But you can stay in breweries and wineries and golf courses and museums, and it's just really fascinating. We're looking at one in Williams, actually, here in Arizona, as we're traveling through. That's right on Route 66. It's some old famous store that was part of Route 66 history.
Sounds really cool. And I read that there's like an underground salt mine. I don't know if you get to park underground, but there's an underground salt mine that that's a harvest host. And
yeah. So
Johnny Lightning, demand pricing may be good if you go in the off season. That's what a positive glass is half full way to look at it.
There you go.
Oh,
okay, so
is that all I had to say about that? Oh yeah. Go get your harvest. Go to our website, get your harvest host link there, and sign up.
Yep. And okay, so I'm going to go back to Texas again for the next couple pieces. Now we're going to move to good news. So the thing with the Snowmageddon is, as we said, it brought out some horrible things, and they found out some things about the infrastructure, but it also brought out some really great people. And one of the things that surprised people, or I was surprised, I should say, there's a lot of sea turtles down in the South Padre Island area, and they don't handle cold well, sea turtles. So apparently at a certain temperature, they kind of freeze and they become like in a comatose state. Mm-hmm. So volunteers started collecting sea turtles. They collected over 5,000 sea turtles.
Wow.
And got them. They have a sea turtle rehab center. Plus, they opened up the convention center so that turtles could be kept in there.
Turtle convention.
So they were putting them there in this like makeshift ITCU, intensive turtle care unit. And the game wardens were out with patrol boats, fishing them out. Volunteers were out there. They even found one cold stunned turtle that was 150 years old. He weighed over 400 pounds. So
wow.
And then SpaceX donated a generator so they could help pool. They had like all these kiddie pools, and the SpaceX gave them a generator that would help keep the pools warm so the turtles would survive. And I guess soon they'll get them back out there in the water. I don't know how long it takes for the water.
I saw a video of them launching them back into into the water, and they had this special slide, and they had water running on the slide.
How fun for the turtles!
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. I'd like to do that.
And the other thing so a lot of people got stranded, as you know, during the storm. One person that got stranded that made the news that I thought was just fun. She is an HEB delivery person, and she was making a delivery in Austin to this couple, and got stuck in their driveway. Oh, no. And they couldn't get her car out. So this couple, who have a couple of daughters of their own, said, you know what, why don't you just come stay here? And AAA couldn't get out because, of course, they were very busy. And so she ended up staying with them for 5 days.
That's incredible.
Isn't that funny? Apparently she's a very good chef, so they ate well. And also it was kind of excellent luck for her. She lost her power and water in her apartment, so had she gone home, she would have been without. So but staying with their house.
How great is
Isn't
that?
It fun?
That's kind of like that story you said about the
Thanksgiving
kid that accidentally that's awesome.
So yes, I thought that was really fun. And then speaking of making lemonade out of lemons, the folks in New Orleans did not get to have the Mardi Gras parades this year. I know.
They didn't get to Laissez Le Bon Temps Roulé.
They did not, unless I'm sure they're people in New Orleans. They did. Yeah. They just had to do it at home. So, but no big floats. So the float company, and because people start reaching out to them, wanted to decorate their porches. So here's some, they went out of their way with the float company, took some of the decorations they would have done. The float company helped with people contact them, and they did one in particular that was dedicated to Dolly Parton because she gave the money, did a donation that helped with the vaccination, so they wanted to highlight her. Nice. So anyway, kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun thing. And again, making lemons out of lemonade. Let's just decorate our houses instead. So that was a fun thing. And then as everybody's making their plans, we've been talking about campgrounds, we're talking about boondocking. Let's talk about the National Park Service.
Let's do it.
So last year, the National Park Service, of course, their visitation was down, #COVID, because some of them had to close. But they actually, after June, started to see a pretty strong uptick in stay. So while the the visitation was off by, I think they said 28% for the year. That doesn't seem very much, really. But I thought it was really fascinating. They published recently how many visits each of the sites had.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one, does everybody know what the number one national park as far as in terms of visitors is?
I do, because I'm looking at it right now.
But we've talked about this before. So the number one national park destination, yes, Yardy girl, I like that. Number one is the Great Smoky Mountains.
Great Smoky, but how do they count that?
Well, I know it's hard because there you don't have to really check in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they kept their long-running position as the most visited national park in 2020. They've had that position since 1944. But you know what? Grand Canyon's always had number two, but they didn't have it this last year.
They didn't have a Grand Canyon?
They had a Grand Canyon. They didn't keep their number two position.
Oh.
So, do you know who came up into the number two position?
Oh, I did not look at this. I would say it would be, I can't think of anything right now.
We visited it last year, so we helped contribute to it becoming number two. Now, the choice for you is, okay, very good. You got the right Y one. Yes.
Woo-hoo!
Yellowstone.
Not Yosemite.
So, no, not Yosemite. So, Yellowstone moved up to number two. It's not been number two, I don't think, since ever, maybe.
Well, it started getting crowded when we were
Yeah, it
we
did.
were there.
When we first got there, it was great.
No, yeah, but then people started showing up in droves.
So then Joshua Tree started having a huge increase. They went up 11%, and they're expecting a really busy March and April. So I think that's, again, one of those spots people go to get away from other people.
Yeah, we're not far from there, and we talked about getting over there.
Yep.
Maybe we will yet. We'll see. And this is a picture of Yosemite, not Yellowstone. Okay.
Very good.
All right. So we have another comment? We do.
Yes. I also want to share with y'all
This
this
is crazy.
image. This is out of China.
Yeah, this is something that the Pishians need right here.
This is really cool, y'all. That's glass at the top, so you can go up there and kind of have a penthouse view, and you can actually walk out. I think you can see there out on that little porch. But downstairs is the living area, and then upstairs is a table and chairs, and you could sit there. And so it's called the Maxis Life Home V90 Villa Edition, if anybody wants to look it up. And it is available now in China for $490,000.
Whoa.
It's essentially a Class C, but instead of slides out, it goes sliding up.
490.
That's
crazy.
420.
That's
I'm off by
better.
70,000. Yeah. But the other interesting thing that they were saying that American RV manufacturers should look at is it had a lot of projectors. So like it has a projector that you can watch television on the back window, but then when the TV's not on, it's a window.
Oh, yeah, that's really the way it should be.
Yeah, instead of having bulky televisions.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the last one is just for fun. She probably didn't think it was very fun, but she's fine, folks. But did y'all hear about, this sounds like a joke, but did you hear about the woman who got bit by a bear in the outhouse?
Oh, no.
She was up in Alaska. Speaking of Alaska, she's up in Alaska and sat down, or outside of Alaska, and sat outside of Haines, Alaska, in about 20 miles away, and sat down on a toilet out in an outhouse. She was staying in a yurt, and the black bear was in there, and they say she felt like she got bit. I think they think that she just probably got swiped by his paw. And she ran back in, and when they came back out, they saw it lumbering away. So scary. Apparently that was a not uncommon thing for them to find their den in an old outhouse. So definitely look before you sit.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, excellent news, Debra.
Thank you. That was big because we haven't had news for a month.
That's right.
So I had a lot to tell y'all. So anyway, so there are interesting things I think that are going on. And
we have some comments. Oh,
we do. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, we have some comments to get back to. So Linda was asking about the faithful parking, which was an interesting idea. I think it had.
Well, I think it came up when we interviewed Joel. I haven't heard about it, Linda, doing much. I think there are some churches that do allow parking. I
think it's still a thing. It's been probably a year, but when I was browsing on campgroundbooking.com, I saw some faithful parking sites. So you might try that. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. So check campgroundbooking.com to see if they have some of the faithful parking sites. But for those that you don't know, that is where churches will allow you to park on their empty parking lots as you're going from point A to point B for a night.
Yep.
Probably just make a little donation to the offering plate or something. I don't know.
Now I'm curious, August. What do you mean you're getting a new rig?
Yeah, I had no idea. You just built out that rig twice.
Beautiful van.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a great van. We're going to do another video. And yeah, Johnny, we don't know which one is Myrtle. I think it was that one on the top left. But as far as the turtle goes, Myrtle the turtle, I think she was there. Let's see, Johnny, Statue of Liberty.
It was warm. Yes, Johnny, it probably was warm down there. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Mark's going to go on a big trip.
Oh, is he?
Soon, yeah, he's gonna.
He got a new rig too.
Got a new rig and gonna take it out to. I think he said Yosemite.
Well, he should wait for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we show the interview with Michele and talk about Alaska?
We
Y'all
should.
Want to talk about Alaska?
Yeah. So let's talk about Alaska. We're making plans to get out there. Hopefully in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing some research and interviewing a couple people, and this is our second interview on Alaska. So without further ado, here's Michele. It's about 18, 19 minutes or so, and then we'll see you on the other side.
We'll be commenting in the comments.
That's right.
Michele, thanks so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. Why don't you tell folks, now you have lived in Alaska for how long?
So I actually grew up here in Alaska, born and raised, lived here through college. And then after college, I moved around for a bit and then ended up back here about 2.5 years ago. So all told, almost 25 years in Alaska.
Okay. All right. And what part of Alaska?
So the interior, so almost right in the middle. So if you see my handy dandy picture of Alaska, we're kind of close to the Canadian border. But yeah, pretty much in the interior.
Okay. The interior.
That sounds cool.
To those of us down here, I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to assume it means inside.
It's not the exterior. Well, it's not on the coast.
No. Yes, it's not on the coast. That's the main thing.
Okay.
So a lot of people think of Alaska as, the Aleutian chain or other coastal areas, places you can visit on a cruise. My town is one of the first ones you'll come to if you drive to Alaska. So our claim to fame is that we are the end of the Alaska Highway. And the town's name is Delta Junction.
Delta Junction.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. All right. That makes sense. All right. Well, then, one of the reasons you so reached out to us when we were talking about, we wanted to talk to people about Alaska, and you mentioned, well, since you live there, you know a little bit about Alaska.
Kind of an expert.
So I wanted to ask you, what when you tell people, what are the top 3 things you think people should do when they come to Alaska?
Oh, that's a great question. So I always think that people should get more of a total picture of Alaska by seeing both the coast and the interior. You get a lot of people who come up on like a cruise and they only see the coast, but the interior has a lot to offer too. So I think one of my favorite things to do when people come up to visit me is to take them on the Riverboat Discovery, which is located in Fairbanks. It's a paddle wheeler, an old paddle wheeler, not really old, but they make it seem, like it is. And they'll take you on a tour of Alaska via the Chena River. And they take you to a village where you can experience some of the history of Alaska and that kind of thing. And they even give you some smoked salmon samples on the way back, which are pretty delicious. So
nice.
When I've had people come up here to visit, I have taken them on that. And one of my friends said it was her favorite thing that we did the whole time she was up here. She was here for 2 weeks. So
awesome.
Nice.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's one of my top picks. And that's an interior thing to do. So Fairbanks, kind of right smack in the middle of the state. And And then another place that I really like is Valdez. So it's the closest place on the ocean to where I live. Takes 5 to 6 hours to get down there from where I am, but it's beautiful. The drive is beautiful. So you're driving over a mountain peak. You're driving through some canyons where there's gorgeous waterfalls. It's really, really pretty. And then once you're down there, you're right on the water. You can see all the fishing boats coming in and out. It's a cute little town. Very fun to visit.
Okay.
So
that name is Valdez?
Valdez, yes. Yep. A lot of people, when they come to Alaska, they end up on the Kenai Peninsula because if you fly to Anchorage, that's the closest place to the coast from Anchorage. But I think Valdez, is really nice too. It's a lot closer for me to get to. So we go there a lot more often, but really beautiful to visit for sure.
And that road,
and then
that road goes from you to Valdez that goes over a mountain. Is that a doable road for RVers?
It is. It's one of the major roads in Alaska. Okay. It's the Richardson Highway. So it goes all the way from Fairbanks to Valdez. That's the entirety of it. So if you drive from Fairbanks to Valdez, you'll come through Delta Junction, my town, on the way.
Nice.
And there are lots of cool places to stop and stay along the way. So one of the things that is awesome about Alaska and RVing is that there are myriad of places where you can just pull off and make your camp right there and have a great stay, totally free. So
all right.
There are a lot of places like that between Fairbanks and Valdez on the Richardson Highway. So
okay, so you get one more, a third.
Yeah, so this one is a little bit off the beaten path. It's a tiny little town. It's called Hope, Alaska. Cool name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Hope, there is a campground called Porcupine Campground, and it just has the most gorgeous views. It's a really, really pretty little campground. It's a little out of the way, so this is actually on the Kenai Peninsula. So if you go out of Anchorage, you're headed to the Kenai Peninsula, there's a little highway called the Hope Highway that you take. It's only like 18 miles long. And the campground is literally at the very end of the highway. So you drive right into the campground, gorgeous views of the mountains and the sound, which is like right beneath you. And there's really pretty walking trails. And yeah, I think it's one of those little gems that most people don't know about. The one thing to know about that one is it does tend to book up. So it's good to have a reservation in advance if you want a good site.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I like
advice.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you were saying, there are free spots for folks that they can just pull off the roads or, drive, I'm sure, a little bit. But to find these free spots that they can RV, these are obviously going to be them boondocking, so no hookups. But along these roads, are there also places for RVs to stop and get their water and to do their dumping and things?
Great question.
Yeah, so there's actually quite a few places to do that if you are in the larger area. So like in Fairbanks, there's quite a few gas stations you can go to that'll allow you to dump, fill up with water, propane, everything. It's nice because it's one stop, right? You go there, you get everything done, and then you're ready for an adventure. Same thing here in my town in Delta. We have a gas station you can go to and do all the same things pretty much. Toke, which is another one that's close-ish for Alaska terms. They have ones like that as well. So pretty much if you're coming to a town, they'll probably have a place for you to stop and get your essentials. And those are usually also the places where there are, places with hookups. So if you need to stop and do some, showering or laundry or whatever, the places to go.
Yeah, that's what I think. A friend of ours that went to Alaska on a previous show, they were talking about that. Those were the bigger towns where you usually load up with groceries and other essentials that you might need.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Once you get out of the towns, that's one thing about Alaska. There's not a lot in between. So once you get out of the towns, you kind of have to be stocked up and ready to go. But there's a lot of beautiful places in between where, like I said, you just see someplace that looks awesome, pull over, and you're good to go. Like,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And so you covered campgrounds or where we could camp and a couple of hidden gems. What advice do you, from living there for most of your life, what advice do you have of if somebody really wanted to live like a local, what should they do?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think just getting out in nature. I mean, that's what Alaskans do, right? People live up here to take advantage of the outdoors and to be kind of off by themselves. So yeah, just to find a spot that's kind of off the beaten path and then explore it and see what you can find and just enjoy, I guess.
Okay.
Enjoy the
Awesome.
mountain
Oh, that's
views.
great advice for
Yeah, that's good for
Yeah.
So one of the things, of course, I've never lived in Alaska. I've never even been to Alaska.
No.
Well, we have. We
Oh,
we
that's
took
right. On a cruise.
But
that counts.
but
Oh, yeah.
that's
That
just a
wasn't the
visit,
interior.
Yeah, that was the coast.
Yeah, you didn't get the whole picture.
No, we
No.
didn't. So my perception of folks that live in Alaska is that you are indoors most of the time. So that's interesting to know that you're outdoors because I think it's cold there. So I assume you're always indoors. But what time of the year is when you're mostly outside?
So definitely the summer. Summers here are short, but they're absolutely gorgeous usually. Beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, tons of stuff to do outdoors. So Alaskans tend to just like pack it all in. We've got the light for pretty much 24 hours a day, so you can really take advantage of the full days. That usually starts depending on the weather, which is always a big factor up here. I would say May to September. So September, you're really getting into
Okay.
fall. But our fall here is really short. So we already have a good amount of snow on the ground
Oh, wow.
today. So
And it's now October.
That's
so
October,
for anybody that's
yeah.
watching. So
Yeah.
yes.
by
Yeah, that's
October,
true.
you
Yes.
got snow. So you got September is still summer, but somewhere between September and October is fall for like a
Yeah.
weekend, and then we got winter.
Yeah, if you're in an RV,
Okay.
Yeah.
traveling, get out.
Yeah, you want to get out of there if you're in an RV.
Usually, I would say we almost always have snow on the ground by mid-October.
Okay.
That's pretty much a given. So fall is really just like a couple of weeks, maybe at the most.
Okay.
So.
Kind of sounds like
That's-
Texas,
yeah.
but Texas is
Yeah.
more summer than winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do locals like to eat? I mean, is there any, and obviously regular food like everybody else, I know that, but like, are there specialties that you can only find in Alaska?
Yeah, like I'm always assuming that everyone eats salmon all the time.
time.
But surely there's other stuff.
We do eat a lot of salmon for sure. So I would say that one thing about Alaskans is that we eat what is here. So we eat a lot of salmon. We hunt and fish. So we have moose, caribou, bear, sheep, halibut. Basically, whatever you can, hunt or fish for is the staple of the Alaskan diet. A lot of those things, you can get in restaurants. So definitely worth a try if you've never had them. Personally, I'm a big fan of all of them since I grew up on them.
No.
Did you know that? I didn't know you could eat bear. I'm
That's
sure.
a
I
thing.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure I knew that people ate bear, but it's just not
don't
something
know.
I think
thought
about.
bears ate you.
Yeah, mostly
Yeah.
bears.
That's also true.
Well, yeah, when we did our Alaskan cruise, of course, we did the typical salmon
Excursions.
bake.
Yeah, we did a salmon bake.
Oh, yes,
And,
for
tasty.
sure. Those are awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, and I'm sure it's a very touristy thing, but it was
But
really,
I think
really
it's
good. And
based
it was
on
fun.
what really happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those
Fun.
are great. I definitely think it's a good plan to visit one of those.
So if somebody's planning a trip to Alaska, is there a book you recommend that they read before they come to Alaska that would overview of Alaska?
Good question, Debra.
Thank you.
That is a good question. So the book that I would generally recommend, specifically if you're an RVer and you're coming to Alaska in an RV, is The Milepost. Have you guys ever heard of
Mm-mm.
this?
No.
So it's a big book. It kind of looks like the size of an atlas or something. And basically it goes through every road in the state and it gives you highlights of what's along that road. So they'll have there'll be a milepost number, whatever, and you can look at the milepost along the side of the road, look at your milepost, and then say, oh, well, there's a pull off that has, great camping, or here's a really good lookout view with a short hike that'll allow us to see some wildlife, or, something like that. It has highlights of all the roads, and then it talks about each of the towns you come to and gives you a little overview of the town. And the nice thing about this is it includes the Alaska Highway. So if you're driving to Alaska, it'll give you some tips and help as you're driving up the Alaska Highway, which can be quite an adventure. So you want to have something that'll help you plan ahead. There's not a lot in between a lot of the stretches where you're driving the Alaska Highway.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. You don't want to miss those Civil War battlefields and stuff like that.
I don't think there's any Civil War battlefields in Alaska.
No, not so much.
I don't think there were any American Revolution there either. But that said, there is a lot of history in Alaska.
There's a lot of history.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
There is.
A lot of scenery, a lot of history.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So what else do you as a local want to make sure we that are visiting in our RV know?
So I think one of the things you briefly brought it up with the bears is safety. So, Alaska is a wild place. So when you come up here, make sure you plan ahead, that you have something with you to keep you safe if you're hiking or anything like that. You're likely to come upon wild animals wherever you are up here. So definitely important to keep in mind. And also, when you're at camp even, making sure that you're not leaving stuff out and about that could potentially attract bears or other animals. So I think that's one important thing to mention, especially, if you're RVing. So
that's a great tip.
Absolutely.
Yep. We have bear spray. Get to use it.
Yeah,
we
bought bear spray in Yellowstone. So I guess
perfect. There you go.
We're ready.
We're ready. I have no idea where it is right now, but
It's up there.
We'll hopefully find it when we need it.
Yeah, before the bear finds it.
Before the bear finds it.
Yeah. And then I guess another thing is if you are going to be visiting an Alaskan RV, it seems more likely than not you're probably going to drive up here unless you're going to rent an RV once you get here. And the trip through Canada can be a challenge. Like I mentioned a few seconds ago, there's a lot of stretches of land where there isn't a lot of infrastructure, or there's a lot of gaping stretches of the road where you're kind of out there by yourself. So just plan ahead. Like I said, pick up a copy of the milepost. That'll help you a lot. Make sure you plan in advance for your fuel stops, because there aren't a lot of places to fuel up. So don't say, I have half a tank, I can make it to the next town. That's not a good idea. And then, of course, anytime you're transiting another country, make sure you check up on all their regulations and everything for what you're allowed to bring into the country, and, be prepared for all those questions. And of course, right now, there's even more concerns with COVID and everything. So make sure you're following all of the rules for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good advice,
we got a lot of good advice about that before too. So absolutely. I know there's a lot of rules about guns, because people do bring guns into Alaska. Since you are traveling through Canada, they have to ship them.
Yep. And all that. Yep.
So good to know. Good to remember. Okay. Any other spots or thoughts or hints that you want to share?
So I did have one more that I was thinking about mentioning. So there's a little known spot. It's kind of one of those places that's mainly frequented by the locals. It's called Tango Lakes. So it's a campground. It's located off of the Denali Highway, which is a highway that connects the Richardson Highway with the Denali area. So the Parks Highway is the main highway that Denali itself is off of. I didn't talk a lot about Denali because, everyone thinks of Denali when they come to Alaska. Right. So you guys probably already know all about it. But this highway is something that a lot of people don't know about. So it was originally the only way to get to Denali before the Parks Highway was created or whatever. So basically, there's a road. It's not in super great condition, but the first section of it is pretty good. So basically, I think it's about 23 miles or so from the Richardson Highway that are paved. It's still something you'll want to take it slow, but I've taken it in my motorhome totally fine. And it's a beautiful drive through, really cool terrain. And then when you get there, there's beautiful lakes that you can park by. There's a campground, a paid campground with facilities and everything. And then there's also boondocking that you can do around the area. And if you have a towed vehicle that you don't mind driving a little further, you can take it the rest of the way, and it turns into a gravel road after that, but still really beautiful. So
Nice.
it's a pretty cool area to visit. It's only open in the summer. During the winter, they don't plow the road, so it's pretty much a snow machine route after this time of year, but pretty fun to visit in the summer. So
Nice. Great
All
tip.
right.
Thank you very much.
I like that.
yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Michelle.
Yes,
we really
thank you.
appreciate it. We appreciate us that you're interested in sharing your tidbits and great information. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're definitely welcome. And if anyone has more questions, they can definitely check out my website or my blog and then send me a note if they have questions. I'd be happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Michelle.
So you have a blog called lifelikeretirement.com, and people can check that out. You have more information, you said, about Alaska on there. And as you mentioned, people can reach out to you there. So great. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And it was very nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. We're back.
We're back. Yes.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully everybody else is too.
Yeah, I am ready to go to
Alaska.
So who's with us? 2023. That is the goal.
We have many things to get in place before we can get there, but
No.
that is the goal. And
That's right.
and for like the whole summer too, because we want to really.
Yeah.
I think once you get all the way up there, it really is something you want to spend more than just a couple weeks up there.
Yeah, I really
for the
encourage
trouble
you
to get up there.
Go to our YouTube channel and look up the interview we did with
Johnsons.
Tammy and Eric Johnson of Techno RV. We want to do their plan.
Yeah, they were
which
there for
sounded
3 months.
Amazing. Yeah, 3 months, and then they did. It sounded like everything you could do almost
Just
in
about.
Alaska.
Just about. But Michelle was awesome.
Yep.
She was actually a camper that responded to me in an email and asked, volunteered. So if you guys, anybody watching, has information they want to share about any place they've traveled or their hometown or anything that they think would be awesome for other RVers, we would love to talk with you.
Yeah.
And share your information as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Okay. All right, so we want to show some quick pictures of our
we wanted
area.
so we wanted to talk about Arizona, and like I said earlier in the show, we are going to do a whole video on this area, so people get some travel tips. We have learned a few things while we've been out here. We want to share those with you. We have been in this area. We actually have been in Arizona itself since January 5th, and we're going to be here a little bit longer. And I have to say, Arizona has surprised me.
Yeah. It really has. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but
it's beautiful.
Is,
I really, when we first got here, we were traveling, to Tucson, and I was a little shocked at how brown it was, and thinking, I don't think I could live here. It's so brown. But as you get used to it, and you see more green, and you get, and also
there's a beauty in there.
And Tucson, Phoenix area is sort of flat and brown, but with lots of cactuses, or cacti. Anyway, but it doesn't take long to get to another place. Like when we were in Tucson, we drove 30 minutes and we were up in snow. So it was pretty amazing. And then coming to this area, this is known as the Verde Valley area, which includes Camp Verde.
Yep.
Cottonwood.
Jerome. That's
French.
My French heritage. Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
And we are
Clarkdale and Prescott.
And Prescott.
Prescott.
We knew about
Prescott.
We knew about Sedona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been here before.
We've been here before, but it was but those other towns are really cool, and we're in between Sedona and Cottonwood. So it's been nice to explore all of it. We went to Jerome and all that.
So one tip I would have is, I think the great place assuming you want to stay in a campground, or really, actually, there's a lot of good boondocking around here as well.
Nice.
Cottonwood is a great area. It's very
Yeah.
central. About everything is about 30 minutes away from it,
Yep.
or less in some cases, and just a really great area to start your exploration. We were in Camp Verde actually, and that was a great little town.
Yep.
Cottonwood's got a little bit more
going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we stayed at Rancho Verde, which was a very quiet, nice
Small.
campground, very small. A lot of folks are there long term, and I think it's almost all adults. I don't think they really encourage children. So, but it was very nice.
Yeah.
And the people that worked there were
Yeah,
just
they were
delightful.
yeah.
They were sweet, so sweet. And some of the folks that had been there a while were also just really funny. But
a lot of character.
But anyway, we visited Cottonwood and all these places, and just have really been surprised. I mean, and it's beautiful. We knew that, but there's also such a variety. Like Jerome is this old ghost town mining company, built on this hill. I mean, some of the houses have slid down the hill in the years that it's been around. And then
let's show some pictures.
Let's show some pictures, definitely.
So we've got
so this is in Cottonwood.
Yeah, that brewery.
That what brewery?
That brewery. So that's a really nice brewery. Some good stuff there, and they have live music sometimes. So that's in Cottonwood.
Yep.
And then if I can figure out how to do this.
How are you operating this?
Yeah. That's,
but anyway,
crazy.
but that Bocce is another restaurant there that was really cool. It had a fire pit we could be around, and then that big picture. Okay, that's Bocce. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm going out of order here. Okay. So here's Prescott. The lake outside of Prescott. It's called what?
I think it's Watson Lake.
Watson
We
Lake.
did a hike there. That was very surreal. Those rocks are very like bubbly looking, like bubbles, big huge bubbles, but really, obviously rocky.
Yeah.
Like you're on Mars or someplace.
Mars with water.
Yeah.
So
the water wasn't until you hiked the other direction. I was just in the part was just rocks.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was
like
being on a movie set. You kind of start believing things don't look real.
And then we have Jerome.
That's Jerome. So that's the whole town is about 500 people, and it's just built up there on the hill.
A lot of artists. And
very artsy community. So a great place to go if you're looking for some arty kind of things.
We had a hamburger at Haunted Hamburger.
Yep.
But the hamburger itself wasn't haunted. But apparently there are quite a few places in town that are haunted.
They're known to have ghosts in this place.
We got up insanely one morning. So
Barry got me up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
For a moon.
So this is a moon set. I expected the moon to be in a slightly different position, but but anyway, we got up, drove 4 miles up a really tough off-road, and took us about an hour to get up 4 miles.
Yeah, 4 miles. It was the hardest 4 miles I've ever done.
And it was very difficult. And anyway, but we got to the merry-go-round rock feature, and this was our view.
Yeah,
back towards Sedona.
It was pretty stunning. Yes. And then we went for a hike.
That day we went and had a big breakfast, and then we went on a hike, and then Johnny, you want to know if Bocce had a bocce ball court. They did have a section that was closed, #COVID, but it did have what looked like bocce ball and other kind of games and an outdoor bar. It was a really, really cool spot. I highly recommend it if you are in this area.
It's also right next to State Bar, which was very cool.
Yeah. And then right down the road was Belfry Brewery. Belfry,
like a bell in the
like
belfry.
a bat in the belfry. Yeah, Belfry Brewing. That's hard to say.
Speaking of hard to say.
Hard to say, yeah. Talpaki.
This is another big artist community in Sedona.
Yeah, so it's
like a little shopping mall, but but very artistic stuff and beautiful. It itself, very mission looking structure, and it's very beautiful.
Very
just
cool place.
On its own.
It's fun to take pictures around there. And this is us finally
recognize
on the hike.
us. Yeah, that's us on the hike. Look at us.
That's it. So those are all the pictures that we had for you tonight. We don't have an outro, so that's going to fit as the outro. But I did want to say the Kempers aren't on tonight, but I did want to say to Shreg, see, I do process some images, and they do actually get out of the camera sometimes.
On occasion. But yeah, so we think this is a great place to come. The road going in, there's a scenic byway that goes into Sedona on 79. Is it 179? That you can take. I actually think 89A.
Yeah,
it's more.
It's
beautiful. It's
got
quicker.
a 7% grade coming up from Cottonwood to get up into Sedona, which is a little bit of a grade, but it's a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
Any way you get into Sedona is beautiful.
The other thing that surprised the heck out of me about Arizona, and I was pretty excited. Now, you know that we go to a lot of breweries because we share a lot of breweries, and living the stout life, we like to support them by, we feel like we must visit breweries on their account. And but I was really excited because this area is really well known for wine, and they have this whole wine trail. Yeah. They have 25 wineries.
That's crazy.
In between all those cities we were mentioning, and the really interesting thing is they're really good. Yeah, they're really pretty tasty. So it's been kind of fun to actually visit a couple of breweries. We went to one called Dancing Apache. Not only was the wine good, it's a little expensive, but the winery itself was just gorgeous. To sit out there, we had live music. We're sitting outside. It was a little chilly, but it was really pretty. They had goats and a donkey and just nice stuff.
Yeah, it was sort of Napa-like in that.
Yeah, it really was in the way that it looked, and you could hang out there. So. So we highly recommend this area. We'll have more for you on it coming soon. Yeah, we did some video and lots of photos. So hopefully going to be putting together a thing for you there. So, yeah. Stay tuned. Sorry you're buffering, Santa Claus. I don't know what's happening there, but hopefully. Johnny says it's not us, or that he's okay. And Johnny, we have been to the Painted Desert before. We did that on our last trip. Yeah. So, It's still painted. It is. It's very lovely. So anyway, but yes. Bye, Santa Claus. So anyway, telling you now the plans that we have coming up. Yes. To close out the show. So we know, don't forget, we'll be on Facebook Live on the third Thursday. So that's March 18th this month. We'll be on there live. Again, chatting with folks. We just, as we said before, we're doing a few less of these shows, trying out Facebook, just to try a few new things. We actually, this week, we're trying out a Zoom with some folks to see if that works. So we could actually see people in person. So more on that. We talked about potential meetups in California. Yep. And we have RV Renovation Month coming up in April. You've been doing some interviews. Yeah, I've done some interviews with some renovators, and they're giving us some really good tips. Yeah. So, Johnny, if you want to learn how to paint those cabinets for that rig you get, you'll know how. Yeah, you'll know how. So let us know if you have questions that you want us to be asking folks as we continue our interviews. Yeah. So, and how can folks help us? Oh, folks can help us any number of ways. But this week we're asking if you would be so kind as to make sure that you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel. And if you will hit that bell so you get notified when we do go live on in situations like this. And also, if you wouldn't mind sharing it with some of your travel-loving friends, we would sincerely appreciate that. We're still trying to get the word out about the virtual campground and continue building this community. So anything you can do to help, we sincerely appreciate. So we appreciate everybody that came today, especially a warm welcome to those of you that were new with us this month. We appreciate you showing up, and I think that's it. We have no outro, so it's going to be a cold close. We're just going to say goodbye, and until we can see you in person, we hope to see you around the campground, the virtual campground. Yeah, something like that. We'll see you around the campfire. You can tell we're not professionals at this. No. So y'all take care. Safe travels. Have a good evening.